everybody, it's Georgia Weidman, author of Penetration Testing, a hands-on introduction to hacking, and your instructor for this accompanying lab. So this time with persistence, we are going to look at creating a new account, and unluckily for me, we're going to be using PostgreSQL. Why do I say unluckily? Because I think by this point, you guys have figured out that syntax and typing are both really not strong suits of mine, but PostgreSQL, my syntax for it is terrible. So if you catch me looking that way, it's just me looking at the lab manual to get the syntax, no worries. Anyway, alright, IP adder, well, we don't even really have to. Well, I guess we have to do that part, but we don't have to nmap because we know it's Postgres at this point. So we want to PSQL. See, that's how bad my syntax is. Like, how do you even call it? And host-h. So we want to tell it we want to connect to .3 and -big U for the user. And you do have username and password on here. Postgres and password. Postgres, it asks you for the password, and now we're logged in. Alright, so basically to like dump things, you do a backslash. So if I do like \L, I get that this shows me the tables, and one of the tables is flag. So I imagine that's where our flag is. So to change the database, so like how in a normal SQL setup it would be use, you do \C and tell it I want to use flag. So now I'm connected to flag. Luckily the like SQL part, like the actual queries are normal-ish. Select star from flag, semicolon, and flag is actually empty. So for now there's nothing there. So what we want to do is actually add a user to this Postgres. So what's actually going to happen is this user that we're logged in is going to get their password changed or something. Somebody's going to notice that we were there perhaps and take away our access, but we're going to give ourselves some extra access that they might not notice. And so to see the users, it's \du, which is maybe dump users. I don't know. All there is on here is Postgres, and they're a super user. You can do a Q to get out of that. And now we want to add a user. Let's create user test. Test is going to be the username with password and single quotes around it. I'll just go along with bad passwords and call it password too. So I've created that user, and now I need to make them a super user as well, because if we do a du now test, it won't be able to do anything, which isn't any fun. So we want to alter user test with super user. And now if we do a dump users, test is now a super user. So this is where it gets slightly weird, is that what's going to happen is the lab's basically going to hit a 5-minute timer, and then like I said, that'll be them finding you. Your Postgres user is going to go away, and you'll have to use the test user that you created to get back in and get the flag. But it doesn't just kill the connection automatically. You actually like have to make it do something, and then it'll die after 5 minutes. And I am gonna cut the video because no, I am not gonna spend the rest of 5 minutes ad-libbing for you. I really should like prepare material. But anyway, I'm gonna cut the video, turn it back on when it happens. But yeah, basically just give it a couple minutes and go like that. Make it do something, and it'll close the connection. Okay, so we're back. You probably saw the cut, but I just did a -L, and the connection closed unexpectedly. So exit out of PostgreSQL, and if we try to get back in, well, we can just use the up arrow. With our old credentials, we get it failed. So like I said, that old user is basically to stop you from faking the flag, Which some of them, I realize, some of these it's totally possible to fake the flag. And then you're only hurting yourself if you do that. But, you know, kind of as we move towards the possibility of doing exams and things, you can kind of see where we're headed with this, like stuff where you can't fake it. And so anyway, all right, so let's try again. But this time, let's do the user test. And test password is password. And I actually get an error on this one. I want to show it to you because what we didn't actually do, and we didn't have to, there is no database named test, so like it doesn't have anywhere to put it, I guess. But you can get around this by just putting another parameter after the user. You just tell it what database you do want to connect to, and we want flag. So, you know, I actually had to figure that out. And password, and now we're in, and if we do, and we're already connected to flag, so we can do a select star from flag, and now we do have a flag. So, you know, giving yourself an account, I mean, again, it's another thing, like, there'd probably be an alert about it somewhere, but again, somebody has to notice the alert and realize that it's not just like somebody doing something that they need to do on a machine. I mean, you'd be surprised like how loud you can be and how much you can look like an attack a lot of times. And even if they do have alerts in place, like it breaks down somewhere and you can have a lot of time before somebody notices, say that, you know, you created a new account or something like that. You know, I've made myself domain admin as Georgia, or as Georgia the Pentester even, and gone unnoticed. You know, some clients want to know, like, is my security stuff actually doing a good job? So I can be like obnoxiously loud, and it's like, you don't see me. So I mean, definitely, you know, adding a user, but be sure you remember to delete it before you leave your test. But anyway, certainly adding a user, you know, to a system, to a database, to, you know, what have you. I mean, really all that changes is the syntax, but, you know, it's a good thing to have, I suppose. So that's all for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.